hear "Make America Great Again," and there was this moment where news people were asking them, okay, so when was that? And the Trump supporters would give these dates when it, oh, that was 1913, so that was before blacks and women could vote. Well, no, that's not what I meant, but that was 1913. That's when we were great. Wow. 1950. Oh, that's before the Civil Rights Movement. Well, no, but yes. So what they want is an America that looks like apartheid, South Africa. And that's where access to resources are exclusively the domain of whites. Exclusively. And it's not enough. There's a saying that when you have had privilege, equality looks like oppression.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough that, the recent study that came out that said it would take African Americans 248 years to equal the wealth that whites currently have.
Right. That
disparity is not enough, obviously. When Obama was elected, the birtherism mess really began to expose the ways that particularly the Republicans, have been trawling in the ground of racial resentment, starting with the Southern strategy under Richard Nixon, where, as Lee Atwater, who was Reagan's strategist, said, you can't use the N-word anymore. It hurts you. It backfires. So now we talk about economic things like cutting taxes, or we say forced busing. But all of these things that we're talking about, the whole point is that blacks get hurt worse than whites. And it's in that framing that I also think we're seeing a lot of the resentment. So when you look at Reagan's policies, for instance, blacks got creamed. In fact, so many of the statistical markers went back to the 1960s, some back to the 1950s by the time Reagan's policies were done. But whites got hurt too, but whites then become almost the beard, the collateral damage, to say, see, our policies aren't racist. Whites are getting hurt. Whites are unemployed. Whites' wages are flatlining. So these aren't racist policies. And that framing also then played to the resentment by saying the reason why whites are hurting is because, it's like Pete Wilson said, because we have to have this affirmative action in California. So when we get then to President Obama, his election just unleashed all of that vitriol and racial resentment that had been stirred and steeped and stewed since the late 1960s. The response has been, besides the hatred pouring down on this man, and I need to be really clear here, the hatred, although it's cast in terms of his policies, as they label him a socialist, this man is about as far from a socialist as you can get. It's not his policies. Right. It is his very being of being black that has unleashed this level of hatred. The voting suppression laws that came in the wake saying basically the only way that he was elected was through voter fraud. And if that sounds like what Donald Trump is saying right now, there's a reason why. And with that so-called voter fraud, which is not documented,